Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Season 17 of Apex Legends is just days away, and I was fortunate enough to sit down with the dev team to see what is on the way and get a preview of what is coming. There are a good amount of changes that I think you're going to be excited to see, so let's kick it right off. We already know we are getting Ballistic, or August Brinkman, as the brand new legend, and he is an assault-based legend that is in general all about being very professional, and he is a hardened veteran of the Thunderdome games, which are what the games were before Apex was today. The best way I can put Ballistic as a character is if you mix together James Bond and John Wick into one character to get a very suave and sophisticated gentleman who is not afraid to get his hands dirty. If you watched the lore trailer from last week, Ballistic is only in the Apex games to protect his son Nathan, who is supposed to be in Apex. Ballistic was in seclusion because his brother-in-law actually died in the Thunderdome games, and he has been kind of hiding since that, and he has been afraid to revisit his past, and the red glasses that Ballistic does wear are actually the same glasses that his brother-in-law used to wear. Ballistic has a passive called Sling, which does allow him to carry a third weapon. He cannot have any attachments on this gun, so it's just straight up the base weapon. As for the tactical, this is going to be the Whistler, which is a pistol that has been retrofitted with a smart bullet. You might want to call it the smart pistol for you Titanfall fans out there. And this ability can lock onto a target after a short amount of time, and it will track that target and hit them. If you do connect with your target, it's going to cause a debuff on that player, which will cause their weapon to overheat as they shoot, and if they don't stop shooting or let it cool down, the ability is going to cause their weapon to briefly blow up and do a small amount of damage to themselves. If you do miss your target with the tactical, don't worry, it's going to leave a little area effect like Ash's Snare, and if an enemy does walk into it, they will get the effect. Finally, Ballistic's ultimate ability is going to be the Tempest, which creates a pulse from his backpack that buffs himself and teammates who are nearby. Everyone hit by this buff during the activation is going to get unlimited ammo, faster reloads, better handling with their guns, and for Ballistic, the sling weapon that he has is going to become gold, which means it is going to become fully kitted. For me, in my opinion of his kit and what you should expect, well, Ballistic kind of seems pretty good, but I don't think he's really going to make anything change with the meta. It's going to really depend on just how good his ultimate ability really is and how often you can get it. The tactical seems fine, but the way it was shown to us in the presentation kind of seems that you can just bypass this overheating effect with some discipline on the player's part. As for the passive, carrying a third gun is going to be pretty cool, and I can already see scenarios where you're going to throw like a PK in that third spot just to have a little bit more options in the close range, but I don't know if it's going to really change things greatly, I'll say. I feel like Ballistic may kind of just be like Ash, where he's good but not overpowered and necessarily not in the top tier of the meta, which is fine, but for now I'm keeping my expectations a little tempered. Let me know in the comments what you think of Ballistic, as I am curious to hear if anyone else feels the same way I do. One of my favorite changes to this season is going to be the massive and well overdue map changes for World's Edge. If you really think about it, the maps in Apex are one of the most substantial content changes that you can make, because it changes how the game is played for everyone every time they do drop on the map. Playing a new legend, of course, does change things, but you know, you're not always going to be that new legend every single time. The theme behind this season is that World's Edge is finally healing and nature is kind of cooling down and things are becoming less volatile. On top of the theme of the map undergoing a healing phase, the actual map or game health has been once again given a once-over, much like Respawn has done with the other maps like Olympus and Kings Canyon of Season 14. But that big change that has been a long time coming is a rework to the Old Faithful Fragment, specifically West Fragment more than East Fragment, but West Fragment really does get a complete overhaul and a new name of Monument. The center area of Monument is going to be a nod or a tribute to the past 4 years of Apex Legends, with an actual museum where you can go here and see some of Apex's past, present, and future. Additionally, there is an entire underground area, or a bunker as the developers were calling it, and there's also going to be sniper towers to better choose the way you want to play. So either you might want to go a little bit more close range down bottom, or if you want to be a little bit more longer range, you could stay up top on the streets. The center fragment definitely sees the biggest changes, but the 5-story mega popular construction building in Fragment West is now getting straight up moved to Lava City, giving this POI a little bit more vertical feel, which I think is pretty cool. Apex obviously has some verticality, like Stormpoint is pretty vertical compared to the other maps, but nothing really quite like what this POI seems like it is transforming into. Lava City is also being renamed to Sax, which ironically or unironically probably reflects the verticality a little bit better. They didn't go too far in depth with it, but Skyhook sees some changes as snow is falling up in the area, and there has been some reworked paths they stated around Skyhook. Additionally to this, to better and more evenly distribute the vaults on the map, a 4th vault is being placed near Skyhook, skyhook, which definitely makes sense. I don't really know why it wasn't there to begin with. They also quickly glazed over it, but some Trials reworks have been done. Trials did work when it first came into the game, but this was like over 3 years ago now. Another cool change to the entire map is that there really is no more lava canyons or places where you would fall into the crevices and fragment, and then you just have to float up while being completely immobile. The lava is still going to be there, but you'll notice that you will be able to walk down into those areas and walk across the lava, obviously taking some damage, but you won't be completely immobile anymore, and it's going to give you a couple more ways to traverse around the area. This is also the case with Harvester, where the lava has been raised up, and additionally, the center of Harvester did see a big rework in its layout. Plus, you can now actually drop through the middle of the Harvester like you could on Olympus with Hammond Labs or the Command Center on Stormpoint. So you're going to be able to drop right down into the middle of Harvester. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. For other map changes, the last two things to know is that Mirage Voyage is actually sticking around on World's Edge, but just know that it is going to be leaving Stormpoint and Broken Moon. And also, the overall skybox and the atmosphere has been changed on World's Edge, and this should result in a nice fresh take on the map, and it will probably look a lot better than it has in the past. If you are wondering about the map rotation for at least the start of the season, so like the first half or so, I am excited to share that we are going to be getting Kings Canyon, World's Edge, and Olympus for at least the first half. There are a lot of cool map changes on the way, but I think my favorite piece of content this season is actually going to be the brand new progression system known as Weapon Mastery, and not necessarily just for Weapon Mastery, but what it could mean for the future of Apex. I'm not going to take credit for it, but I will say almost 2 years ago in a Q&A video, I did say how Apex really needs to dish out some more things to work towards with real progression systems, and fast forward today, it does seem like we're finally getting that with Weapon Mastery. Weapon Mastery is really all about just learning new ways to play and focusing on certain things that you may want to use in Apex. This is really the first new long-term progression system Apex is going to have since the level cap increase, and it's going to be a pretty big deal, I think. The general way Weapon Mastery does work is that every new weapon gets its own level, and you'll be able to level it up all the way from level 1 all the way up to level 100, and you can do this in either the Battle Royale or the mixtape modes. These levels do not reset from season to season, and the big thing with this is every 20 levels, you unlock a trial where you can test your skill with the weapon to earn rewards. So 100 levels, 5 trials. Some things that you're going to get are going to be like banner frames, lifetime performance trackers, and badges as well as a skin for every weapon when you do get it mastered out. This system is going to greatly help or deepen the experience of using weapons in Apex, and honestly, it's just going to be a great way for both new and old players to play the game and have something to work towards. So if you are at the second half of the season, maybe you aren't trying as hard, you can go for other weapons, just kind of explore a little bit and level up your weapons. I think it's going to be pretty cool. We still have more changes and new things coming, and a big one is going to be something that has been a long time coming. We kind of got a little preview of it last season, but we have a brand new firing range experience. We got an update last season, obviously, with the better options in the range, but now we are seeing a massive expansion and really completely brand new firing range with actual buildings to practice techniques, a one-on-one duel arena or a pit arena, and an area to practice your movement tech. This is really no joke. It's finally a complete overhaul. The dummies can actually move around and fire back as well, and something that honestly should have been in the game since launch is you're going to be able to join in progress in the firing range, so you don't have to go back to the lobby, queue up with your friends, and then go back in. From what I've seen, the range changes seem actually sick. I'm excited to see the new training regimens players develop. I think there's going to be a lot more depth and ways to practice your skills that are just more meaningful. I will say to stay tuned. I'll probably do a complete guide video on how you can use this new range to better implement your skills and learn new skills. There is a brand new survival slot item coming to Apex, but first I do want to quickly mention that the ping system did see a nice little overhaul to better reflect actual pings that you would want to use. Such pings are to avoid an area, there's enemy audio here, enemy activity here, you're watching somewhere, defend here, regroup here, looting, or of course move here. Additionally, you just have more pings in the game now. If you're knocked, the game knows you're knocked. You can say if an enemy is reviving right here. You can say if an enemy is healing right here. You can also say to not revive you if you know the enemy is close or something like that. And going even further with this, you have more pings when you're actually skydiving. An additional functionality when you are looking at the full map. So if you open that full map, you will be able to use the full ping wheel. In my opinion, these are pretty small changes, but overall, they're going to massively impact the gameplay, especially if you're playing solo with randoms. For the first time in a hot minute, we are finally getting a brand new and very impactful survival slot item of the EVAC Tower. This is a redeploy balloon that players can place anywhere on the ground when they do wish to have a zip line to allow them to re-rotate or redeploy into the air. You can push enemies or escape at a moment's notice, really. Just note that the tower does have some limitations. It has an activation timer before you can actually use it, and it can't be destroyed by a full team that is really focusing at the tower, as the tower does have a health bar, so you will be able to shoot it if you do want to stop enemies from taking it. And if you're partly going up that balloon and it does get destroyed, you're going to fall back down to the ground like you would on a normal jump tower. The big thing with with the tower, I will say, and what the dev team told us, is they're trying to make Valkyrie a little bit less of a must-have legend. Valkyrie is still going to be better. You know, she still is going to go a little bit higher. There's going to be a little bit more options with Valk because, you know, you don't have to wait for the tower to activate. So Valkyrie is still going to be the better rotation legend, but they really wanted to open gameplay options. So if you're playing the ALGS, if you're playing ranked, if you're playing pubs, you don't necessarily need to feel like you need to have Valkyrie on your squad anymore. The jump tower is something that is going to be pretty great for all teams to have. Ranked changes. You're probably wondering what is on the way. We know ranked changes are coming per Respawn's website, but I don't have anything to share right now as I don't want to go to Apex jail, but stay tuned as I will have more on this very soon. You won't want to miss it. Be sure to hit that like button if you have any questions about anything at all. Drop a comment down below. Check out this video right here if you want even more in Apex. Till next time, everyone, happy gaming.